Here we are, Nixon's garage, building that 59 Buick Electra 225 rat rod for Rat Stock 24 rat rod build-off. I thought I'd make a special video telling you about the rear axle we're going to use in our 59 Buick. So, we like the Ford Explorer rear ends. They got 8.8 diameter ring gears, 31 spline axles. Most of them come with disc brakes, and a high percentage of them have, they call it a locker or a positraction unit. You can tell if it's a positrack by the tag on the rear end. In this first picture, you will see it says 3L73. That means it has a 3.73 gear ratio, and the L indicates that it's a positraction. In this tag, you can see it's a 3-55. This rear end has a 355 gear ratio, but no L, so it is not a positraction. Now you can take the cover off and look inside to see if it's a positraction. It will have this S-shaped spring inside, and you can see the end of the clutch discs. Once you've determined this is the one you want, we'll want to take it apart before we do the cuts. So the first thing we do is take out the cross bolt that holds the pin which the spider gears ride on. This is what that cross bolt looks like. Sometimes those break. You can sometimes work the end of it out with a pick. Sometimes you just have to go ahead and drive out the cross pin and then recover the pieces. This is what the cross pin looks like once it comes out. Once we've removed the cross pin, we will need to push the end of the axle in slightly so that we can get that C-clip from the inside of the spring. This is what a C-clip looks like. Then you can pull the axle out far enough that the carrier will be able to be removed. Then do the other side. Once you have both of the axles pulled out, the next thing will be to remove the main caps. You'll notice they're marked in the direction they go. Right and left are different. We'll want to keep track and put them back where they came from. Between the main cap and the axle tube, there is a thick shim. You'll want to know which direction it goes. You'll want to keep track of which one came from which side if we're just going to put back together the rear end we're taking apart to narrow. This is what the shim looks like. This is where it goes. Once we had it apart, we took a styrofoam cup, wrapped it with aluminum foil, and shoved it in the end of the axle tube. That will keep any debris from going into the center section. Obviously, we're going to want to clean all that out anyway, and we're going to want to clean out that axle tube, but it would be best to keep as much of that as possible out of the inside. Now that we've got that done, we can put the cover back on while we're doing our work. You'll want to cut off all the brackets and grind it all smooth. Get all the rust off. Get it looking like this. Then if you measure the passenger side, you will see that it's 17 1/16 of an inch from the backing plate flange to the center section. Then measure the left-hand side, and you will see that it is 19 15/16, measured the same way. That means that we can remove 2 7/8 of an inch from the left side, get an extra right side axle, put it back together, it'll be in this closer to center. The pinion still will not be perfectly in the middle, but it'll be incredibly closer. Some people call this the one cut rear end because to narrow it, you only have to cut one side. Don't let them mislead you. If you're going to take out a chunk of that axle tube, like this one, you're going to have to make two cuts. When we're getting ready to take that out, I use a tube wrap to scribe my lines. I cut it slightly inside my lines, then ground back to my scribed lines. Then I checked everything for squareness and adjusted as needed until it was perfectly straight. I used 2 pieces of channel and 2 large clamps, clamped them on the axle tubes to make it straight. Before I welded them, I ground both the ends at a bevel so that I could get a deeper penetration and a wider weld. I made my cut so that it would wind up between my 2 4-bar brackets when I welded it back together. Something in my head said that'd make it better that way. I don't know, but it made me at peace inside. Once we did all that work, I got the axle welded up and ground down. Then we tack welded the 4-bar brackets in place. Make sure before you weld those 4-bar brackets that you check your pinion angle. It's important to get it close. We set it the same as the transmission, so the pinion and the output shaft of the transmission are traveling, I guess that'd be parallel or in the same plane. Thanks for watching. That's the way we did ours. It's not the perfect way, but I've watched many videos on YouTube to learn how to do it. This is my first time, and since we did it on this car and we promised some videos, I thought you guys would like to see how we did it. Obviously, I'm not an expert on that. I'm not an expert on much, but now I can look up and say, I narrowed an 8.8 rear end, 2 7/8 inches, used the right side axle shaft on that, and my little car is now going to have 373 gears with a Positrack and disc brakes. Thanks for watching. That's probably good enough. Thanks for watching. Come be our friend on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Bring me some cars to work on. I still got to feed them grandkids. Now they're hanging out at the shop wanting lunch. It's kind of fun though. Have a great night.